GameCube.
What's up, bozos? It's your boy, Matthew Smart. I baited you. So I've wanted to address this topic for a while now, and I figured I might as well do it now before I start pivoting my main channel into the big direction that I really want to go. So every now and then, I'll get comments from random people about evil Matthew Stuart, whether it be asking if I'm him, or just saying, I hate Super Monkey Ball, or anything in between. And to those people, to give you the quick TLDR for those that don't want to watch this entire video, I don't want to be known as the evil Matthew Stuart guy forever. I want to make my Animal Crossing show Leaf Haven, and if you don't like that, oh well. But let's actually go into a bit more detail now. So to give some context for those that have no idea what I'm talking about, Evil Matthew Stuart is a character that I play on my friend Shawcat734's channel. He is a recolor of Mario that keeps his hands held into the air, typically shouts, I hate Super Monkey Ball, and then just shoots people. That is primarily his gimmick, and obviously there's a bit more to him than that. That's genuinely the character in his most basic form. Now I made this recolor in, technically it was 2018, back when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate hadn't come out yet, and I asked some guy on Twitter at the time, hey, can you recolor Mario and Luigi to give him a more teal blue hat and shirt and some black overalls? And they did that, and I thought it looked pretty cool. And so I decided to tweak it a bit and use it for an SMG4 fan video that I made at the tail end of 2020. I basically just made a myself insert, right? And the last segment of that video, which was a Senmanar, which is basically just a clip show of funny bits, right? The last segment I submitted to be in SMG4's 2020 fan collab. And sure enough, it managed to get in. And it got the attention of a little guy named Shawcat734, who I had already been watching at the time, and he found my video because of the collab, and because of that segment, he subscribed to my channel. And I thought, oh, this was really cool. And I responded to him saying, thank you so much. Your videos are great. I'm surprised you didn't make it in. And he was appreciative of that. So nothing much came of that until the summer of 2021, where I joined his now deleted Discord server. And for the record, I just want to say the fact that that server is now deleted is a sign that Jesus Christ is real, because man, that place was horrifying in so many ways. But I joined his server around the summer of 2021, and a few months later, come October, I posted an image that would change the trajectory of my life a ton, right? So around that time, the Evil X Be Like meme was relevant. Basically take a popular person or character and just make them do the opposite of what they would usually do. So I decided it'd be fun to do that with my scrimbly little Animal Crossing guy and my Mario recolor. With my Animal Crossing guy being Good Matthew Smart, aka the actual me, and the recolor being Evil Matthew Smart, that being not me, basically. And that image traveled so far, and like everyone in the server, they basically took the quotes that were in that image, more so on the evil side, and just quoting those verbatim, and they cropped the image of evil in particular, so that was just him. Even a GIF was made where just constantly zooms in on him, and there was a big hyperfixation on the Super Monkey Ball line in particular, and I was just seeing that, and I was just like, I have no idea what's going on here. I'm not sure how to feel about this, but honestly, it's so absurd that it's a little bit funny to me. And so one of the people in the server who I am now friends with, Thunderburger79, went the extra mile because he was so sleep deprived that he legitimately thought that Smart in that name said Stuart. So that's where the Stuart in Evil Matthew Stuart comes from. Just this sleep deprived British kid just not knowing any better. So eventually we reached a point where Shawcat and I were talking about, hey, if you want to include this recolor in your videos, sure, why not, right? And so I gave him the textures to my recolor, and he included them in the Halloween video that came out that year. And then comes the 10,000 subscriber special. He asked me to say the line you all probably know, I hate Super Monkey Ball. And here we are nearly 5 years later. Like, that is genuinely surreal for me to think about. And I want to make clear, if you found me through Evil Matthew Stewart and you decide to stick around beyond that, I am genuinely grateful. Seriously. Like, the fact that people have found so much joy in me just talking with a really gruff accent and just shouting the stupidest stuff into the microphone. Like, I've always wanted to make people laugh, and the fact that I'm able to do it through him, I am genuinely grateful for that. So thank you so much. But I feel like there is this weird subsection of people that genuinely look at me as just that, and it just sort of rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Viewers who have been watching my main channel for a while now will know that my main passion project right now is Leaf Haven, which is a more down-to-earth machinima series surrounding the Animal Crossing universe. And I had been planning to make Leaf Haven a thing before Evil Matthew Stewart even happened. That was partially the reason for the original image, because I wanted to have the Animal Crossing villager be the real me, whereas Evil Matthew Smart was more so just, yeah, don't trust this guy, he might sell you fentanyl. So the fact that the evil version ended up becoming way more popular, and that's who the spotlight was on, was just very, very confusing to me at that time. And I think it also caused a lot of misconceptions surrounding how I feel about Super Monkey Ball as a whole, because with Evil being the more popular guy, and the fact that most people do not know the context of the original image, there was a good contingent of people out there who genuinely thought that I actually hated Super Monkey Ball. Whereas, while I'm obviously not expecting people to do this, if you take one look at my main channel and check out the videos I have made about Super Monkey Ball so far, you would know within 10 seconds that that is not true. The GameCube games in particular hold a really, really special place in my heart. And the second game in particular, honest to God, I think I danced around this quite a bit in my original video about Super Monkey Ball 2, just because I didn't really want to make a firm statement, but I play the game so much, I play the ROM hacks and everything, that I think I am literally done beating around the bush. Super Monkey Ball 2 is my favorite video game of all time. The main reason why I even mentioned Super Monkey Ball in the original image to begin with was because I was already working on my video about the original Super Monkey Ball, which ended up being my first proper Matthew Reviews episode. It was never meant to be the silly little thing that just ended up being exaggerated to the extreme. Truth be told, I've wanted to cover Super Monkey Ball on my main channel as far back as 2015. I just never felt like I was good enough or confident enough in my presentation and my writing and editing abilities in order to make that happen. So that was a long time coming for me, because like I wanted to help make people care about this franchise that I cared about so much. And so the fact that people do now in a bit more of a roundabout way than I expected, it's very strange, but a little bit gratifying all the same. And hey, it helped get more eyes on my general reviews of the games, so that's pretty cool. But the bottom line is, I never asked to be a part of SSGV5. I never wanted to be Evil Matthew Stewart. That all was just a happy accident. And I will admit, for a time, I felt a little bit self-conscious about that, because it just felt like, to me, people just didn't really care about who I actually want to be and what I actually want to do, and they just want the haha funny monkey ball guy. And it made me genuinely feel a little bit bad about myself for a time, and just insecure with where my place even was on the internet. Thankfully, I don't feel this way anymore, and I've learned to sort of just embrace when people are talking about Evil Matthew Stewart, because at the end of the day, they like something that I was a part of. They like something that I technically helped create, and that's great. And it's not like I don't have fun playing the character. In fact, literally after I'm done recording this video, I'm gonna be recording for Shawcat again for one of his next videos as Evil Matthew Stewart. So I don't hate the character by any means. If I genuinely hated what he stood for, I would have stopped voicing him a while ago. And it is clear now that there are enough people out there that genuinely are interested in what I am truly passionate about within Leaf Haven, within my Animal Crossing villager. And the reception to everything I put out for that series so far has been incredibly positive. People are really looking forward to it, whether they know about Evil Matthew Stewart or not. And to that, I am genuinely thankful. But I think the point that I want to make with this video in particular is just the thing that does still kind of annoy me about Evil Matthew Stewart is that when people are talking about him on Shotcat734's channel or on Mad Warrior's channel when I was still playing him on there, or just any other video where I'm playing Evil Matthew Stewart, like on my friend STK's channel when he made the Stewart Revolution. Obviously, I don't care when it's happening over there, but when people come over to my channel and they start leaving comments saying, is that Evil Matthew Stewart or I hate Super Monkey Ball or something like that, unless the video is actually related to the subject matter, that's when it genuinely does annoy me a little bit. Because it's basically signaling to me that the person watching my video is not at all engaged with what it is that I'm actually talking about and simply just sees me as a funny haha character rather than the human being that's trying to get some sort of message across. And honestly, it's reached a point now where if someone leaves a comment along those lines on my channel and they have never commented on my channel before, then I just ban them, genuinely. And I know that sounds harsh when I say that, but when my first impression of you as a commenter is you don't see a human being, you just see a character, I'm just not gonna take you in good faith, I'm sorry. Like, if it's on one of my videos about Super Monkey Ball, I kinda get it. Because obviously a lot of people associate me as a person when I talk about Super Monkey Ball with Evil Matthew Stewart. So I get to an extent. Whenever people are commenting I hate Super Monkey Ball on, say, a Leaf Haven extra or a community post on something unrelated, that's when I start to get a little bit annoyed. And I genuinely just do not want those people around in my community. Now, of course, I'm not a purist when I say this. If someone's leaving a comment that's just like, hey, I found you through Evil Matthew Stewart, but your regular videos are genuinely pretty engaging, I'm excited for what's to come, I'm going to look at that in earnest because I genuinely do appreciate that. The fact that my silly little character gets people to check out my regular videos is really freaking cool. I just don't like it when people try to force Evil Matthew Stewart into a conversation where he is not relevant at all. That's what I'm trying to say here. And thankfully, I think the more people that do watch my channel, the more that they already get, because I don't get comments like this quite as much as I used to. And the fact that Leaf Haven is achieving an audience that hasn't even heard of Shotcat or Mad 8 or even SMG4 for that matter shows to me that yes, I do have an identity to call my own. I really shouldn't be worried much. So that's why I'm trying to stay away from the whole Evil Matthew Stewart zeitgeist within my corner of the internet, which is not to say like, oh, I will never bring him up again. In fact, one of the next videos that's going to be uploaded on this channel is a discussion I had with Shotcat about Kirby Air Riders, and we make a couple of Evil Matthew Stewart jokes in there. So it's not like, oh, I'm completely barring him from any form of discussion. The point that I'm trying to make is Shotcat has his corner of the internet and I have mine. Let's try to respect the boundaries between both of those spaces. That's what I'm trying to say. So hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. And I hope I didn't really come off as mean or gatekeepy in this video. I have no problem with people enjoying Evil Matthew Stewart as a character. Like I said, I enjoy Evil Matthew Stewart as a character. If I didn't, I would have stopped a while ago. I would just prefer people do that in the space where he thrives and not in my own personal space where he's just not there. And for the record, I'm also not trying to say, oh guys, please watch my Will show Leaf Haven. Please stop looking at the stinky wheat color. Please watch my friendly villager show, please. Like, no. If you don't like Leaf Haven, if you don't like my own main channel, if you don't want to watch any of that stuff, that's fine. I have no ill will. People are gonna be into different things. If what I do on my channel is not all appealing to you, you don't have to subscribe. I don't care. That's fine. What I'm trying to say is don't go to a Mexican restaurant and then get upset when they're not serving pizza on the menu. That's it. Anyways, with that said, the next Matthew Reviews episode on my main channel is gonna be about Super Monkey Ball Adventure, and you're you're gonna start to see the actual evil Matthew Stuart inside of me come out. Proceed with caution. God bless and have a good one. Smell you later!